The Sound of Money with Santosh Sirur.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another super special episode of my podcast, The Sound of Money. Well, my guest today, Rajesh Dembla, investor and entrepreneur. A classic rags to riches story. From spending time and staying on a railway station to cleaning horses on Bangalore racecourse to start off a career as an office boy, this is a story of true grit, determination, and self belief. In his own words, Harte gaya, lekin hara nahi. Rajesh talks to me about a whole lot of issues he's experienced. How a Samaritan helped him, how toxic work culture hit him hard, but he bounced back. He talks about startup mindset to his upcoming new startup, Zoozle.in. Well, he also talks about the Naya Bharat, the positive Bharat, and why Majboori is his secret sauce to success. So let's have a chat with Rajesh Dembla on this episode of The Sound of Money as he joins me from Varanasi in India. So, hi Rajesh, how's life been so far in 2024?
Hi, Santosh. Life's been good. No complaints. The way I have always looked at life, मेरी जिंदगी जहाँ से शुरू हुई थी और जहाँ पे मैं हूँ, मैं हर सुबह जब उठता हूँ तो the first thing I do is I look at my past and say I'm in a much better place. Thank you, God.
और
You
अभी
know,
आप बात कर रहे थे कि आप अभी आज जो हम लोग का रिकॉर्डिंग हो रहा है आप वाराणसी में है।
जी
एयरपोर्ट
जी
से वाराणसी आपके होटल तक की जर्नी कैसी रही? क्या देखा? एक नया भारत?
नहीं, ये एक ऐसा भारत देखा मैंने जो मुझे पता था कि हम
हम्म,
लोग जो बैंगलोर में रहते हैं, आप हांगकांग में रहते हैं, हम लोग जो इंडिया को देखते हैं
हम्म,
और जो असली भारत है, जो यहाँ पे मैंने आज सुबह देखा, ये
हम्म,
दोनों बहुत अलग दुनिया है। दे आर डिफरेंट प्लैनेट्स।
हम्म,
और इस भारत को देख के इतना दिल खुश हुआ क्योंकि लोग आज भी उतने ही सिंपल हैं।
हम्म,
उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि कैपिटल मार्केट्स में क्या हो रहा है, उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि किस कंपनी के वैल्यूएशंस में से 4-5 बिलियन घट गए या बढ़ गए, उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। और उनको टेक्नोलॉजी से ज्यादा कोई वास्ता भी नहीं है।
हम्म,
दे यूपीआई, आई थिंक व्हाट्सएप। और मैं देख
यूपीआई।
रहा था यूपीआई व्हाट्सएप, वो थोड़ा बहुत ओला उबर ये वो, बस उससे आगे कुछ नहीं है।
हम्म,
यू नो और इतना मतलब अच्छा लगा देख के सिंप्लिसिटी। यू
हम्म,
नो और
हम्म,
इस भारत के लिए हमें प्रोडक्ट्स बनाने चाहिए। जितने
करेक्ट।
भी यंग फाउंडर्स इस पॉडकास्ट को सुन रहे हैं, तो सिंपल है कि अगर इस भारत के लिए बनाएंगे, जैसे हम वाराणसी में देख रहे हैं, जैसे बाकी का इंडिया है,
हम्म,
तो पैसा बनेगा, शायद बनेगा।
हम्म,
और मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ मेरे हर इंटरव्यू में, पैसा इज नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट। और पैसा आपका मकसद होना भी नहीं चाहिए। आपका लक्ष्य होना चाहिए कि आपने जो लेगेसी छोड़ा है इस दुनिया, राइट, वो आपका जो प्रोडक्ट है, आपका जो काम है, वो कितने करोड़ों लोगों के लिए काम कर रहा है और
हम्म,
उनकी जिंदगी में कितनी खुशहाली ला रहा है। अगर आप वो कर रहे हो तो पैसा शायद आ जाएगा पीछे पीछे। और अगर नहीं भी आया तो भी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, आज नहीं तो कल आ जाएगा। योर फर्स्ट वेंचर, योर सेकंड, थर्ड। आई नो सो मेनी फाउंडर्स, संतोष, जिनके पहले 3-4 वेंचर में इतना बुरा फेलियर हुआ है।
हम्म,
ओके, और उसके बावजूद उन्होंने वापस से जंप किया।
फ्रंट बैक। तो एटीट्यूड की इंपॉर्टेंस आप बात कर रहे हैं। इज एटीट्यूड समथिंग द की, द राइट डीएनए?
ये बोलना आसान है कि
हम्म,
एटीट्यूड ये वो,
हम्म,
बहुत सारी चीजें क्लीशेड हैं। मतलब
हम्म,
आप किसी किसी भी इंटरव्यूज को सुन लीजिए या फिर किसी भी कोचेस की बातें सुन लीजिए, किताबें पढ़
हम्म,
लीजिए, सब बात करेंगे यू हैव टू बी पैशनेट, यू हैव टू हैव द
या
राइट एटीट्यूड। मेरा एक टेक है इसके ऊपर कि एटीट्यूड कम्स लेटर। ऑफ
हम्म,
कोर्स एटीट्यूड इज इम्पोर्टेंट, पैशन इज इम्पोर्टेंट, हर चीज इम्पोर्टेंट है। लेकिन सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है कि आप जो भी कर रहे हो वो क्यों कर रहे हो, राइट।
हम्म,
अगर आपने अपना कोई वेंचर किया है या फिर आप किसी जगह पे काम कर रहे हो क्योंकि आपको दिखा कि आपके सारे सीनियर्स, आपके सारे अच्छे दोस्त वो कर रहे थे, या आप मीडिया में पढ़ रहे हो कि किसी कंपनी का वैल्यूएशन इतना ज्यादा हो गया, उसने फंडिंग उठा लिया, आप इसलिए उस बिजनेस में घुस रहे हो या फिर आपको वैल्यू स्टार्टअप करना है, तो आप गलत कर रहे
यस,
हो, राइट? तो सबसे पहले तो आपको ये समझना है कि आप जो भी कर रहे हो क्यों कर रहे हो। अगर वो आपके दिमाग में क्लियर है और वो अगर सही है,
हाँ,
इफ योर हार्ट इज इन द राइट प्लेस,
करेक्ट,
तो उसके बाद में आता है कि आपका एटीट्यूड सही है कि नहीं, आप अपने काम को लेके पैशनेट हैं कि नहीं। और आप दिन में 24 घंटे होते हैं, उसमें से आप 8 घंटे काम कर रहे हो, 12 कर रहे हो, इट इज अप टू यू, इट्स अप टू यू। मेहनत तो लगेगी,
करेक्ट,
राइट?
या,
हार्ड वर्क एंड स्मार्ट वर्क कॉम्बिनेशन लगेगी। सो दैट इज माई टेक। एटीट्यूड ऑन इट्स ओन, आई डोंट नो संतोष कि सही एटीट्यूड रख के मैं जिंदगी में मैं दुनिया को जीत लूंगा, ये सोचना गलत है।
आपने जो वाराणसी एयरपोर्ट से जो होटल तक आए, आपने एज यू सेड कि आपने जो नया भारत या आज का भारत या रियल भारत देखा, इट्स जस्ट अ माइक्रोकॉस्म। बट अभी बोला जाता है कि कंपेयर टू यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स, यूरोप, दुनिया भर के जो भी सिचुएशंस हालात है, compared to that, India is a very positive country, right? People have very hopes, high hopes, positive hopes, and एक उम्मीद है. What's your take on that?
बिल्कुल है। आज आप मैं अपने जिंदगी से ही बात करता हूँ, मुझे बाकी लोगों के बारे में कम पता है। बाकी दुनिया के बारे में मैं घूम चुका हूँ पूरी दुनिया, और मैं देख चुका हूँ। दिसंबर में मैं था न्यूयॉर्क में। अ, और मैंने कसम खा ली कि अगर बहुत काम रहेगा तो दोबारा न्यूयॉर्क आऊंगा, वरना मैं कभी नहीं आऊंगा। आई वाज सो डिसअपॉइंटेड।
ऐसा क्यों?
अरे उधर मतलब मैं क्या बोलूं कि आई सॉ सो मेनी होमलेस पीपल।
हम्म,
रास्तों पे भीख मांग रहे हैं लोग,
हम्म,
और रास्तों पे मतलब फुटपाथ पे लोग सो रहे हैं। ये न्यूयॉर्क मैनहट्टन का हालत है,
हम्म,
राइट? और मुझे तो अच्छा नहीं लगा वो एक चीज देख के। फिर दूसरा चीज देखा मैंने, लोगों के चेहरे पे खुशी नहीं दिखी, उनकी आंखों में एक मतलब मायूसी थी,
despair,
राइट?
हम्म,
आई वॉज नॉट वेरी कन्विंस्ड दिस टाइम, सो
हम्म,
आई हैव प्रॉमिस्ड माई सेल्फ कि मैं न्यूयॉर्क तब जाऊंगा जब मेरे को बहुत काम एंड अनअवॉइडेबल काम होगा, वरना मैं नहीं जा रहा हूँ।
हम्म,
तो हम लोग बात कर रहे थे वाराणसी की और इंडिया की।
yeah,
इंडिया में ना एक चीज बहुत हमारा एक सुपर पावर है,
हम्म,
राइट? वो क्या है? हमारा एक फैमिली कल्चर है। ओके,
wonderful,
एक फैमिली कल्चर ऐसा स्ट्रांग है। छोटे गांव में एक छोटे से घर में 6 लोग, 8 लोग, 10 लोग रह रहे हैं, फिर भी एक दूसरे के साथ खुश हैं।
हम्म,
खाना कम होगा वहां पे तो भी एक दूसरे के साथ में मिल बांट के खा लेंगे, और उसी में अपनी खुशी ढूंढ लेंगे,
हम्म,
राइट? ये
yes,
शुरुआत, राइट? मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि इंडिया ये है।
हम्म,
इंडिया, एक्चुअली इंडिया इज अबाउट 20 कंट्रीज पुट टुगेदर,
true, yeah,
एंड इंडिया इज लाइक अ यूनिवर्स अकॉर्डिंग टू मी। कि यहाँ पे लोग हैं ऐसे ऐसे कि आज स्टार्टअप कल्चर में देख लो, कुछ लास्ट 5-6 सालों में लोगों ने 10-20-25 हज़ार करोड़ की कंपनियां बना ली हैं, वो भी इंडिया है, राइट?
correct, yes,
खुश हैं शायद, राइट? और यहाँ पे देखिए आप, छोटे से गांव में या फिर छोटे से शहर में, मैं वाराणसी छोटा शहर नहीं है, इट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सिटी इन द वर्ल्ड,
हम्म,
बट मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि यहाँ पे मैं लोगों को देख रहा हूँ खुश हैं। वो एक छोटे से रिक्शा, शेयरिंग रिक्शा में 8-8 लोग, 10-10 लोग, एक दूसरे को जानते नहीं है, कि जर्नी में कहीं पे एंटर कर लिया रिक्शा में, कोई बगल में बैठा है, हंस के बातें कर रहे हैं, 5 मिनट बाद अपना डेस्टिनेशन आ गया,
okay,
उतर के चले गए, राइट? और वो एक दूसरे के साथ खुश है,
correct, yeah,
राइट? तो अब मैं बोलता हूँ कि यार इंडिया इज सच अ ब्यूटीफुल प्लेस कि एवरीबॉडी इज लर्नड टू बी हैप्पी
थेरेपी की जरूरत नहीं है उन लोगों को।
हियर।
It's a part and parcel of life. Now moves on.
ट्रू, वेरी ट्रू, वेरी ट्रू, या दैट
बात
इज द।
करते हैं आपके आपके करियर की, आपकी जो करियर की जर्नी है। वन थिंग आई नोटिस्ड राजेश, व्हेन आई वाज डूइंग रिसर्च ऑन योर वर्क, आप जो स्टार्टअप कल्चर जो शुरू हुआ तभी वो, मुझे आई डोंट थिंक वो स्टार्टअप वर्ड भी था या नहीं। आप शायद बोलते होंगे बिजनेस का स्टार्ट करते हैं, राइट?
जी,
स्टार्टअप वाज इटसेल्फ अननोन, एक था तो ये। द सेकंड थिंग वाज यू प्रोबेबली हैव इन्वेस्टेड इन companies like Just Dial, Yellow Pages, you worked with Yellow Pages, which were very different companies, not banking, not, typical finance kind of thing. You were into what typically was like a phone directory, जो हमें मुंबई में वो MTNL की directory मिलती थी. You went deep down into that, deep dive किया. Unknown businesses.
जी
What's the secret sauce, Rajesh? क्या क्या है इसमें जो आपको लगा कि I got to make a name and fame in that?
जी 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 जी, सबसे पहले तो मैं एक स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट कर लूँ। आई वाज नॉट अ फाइनेंशियल इन्वेस्टर इन जस्ट डायल, आई वाज पार्ट ऑफ द टीम दैट बिल्ट जस्ट डायल।
Okay.
ऑफ कोर्स आई इन्वेस्टेड मेनी इयर्स ऑफ माय लाइफ,
True.
राइट। तो यू नो, एंड आपने यू नो नॉस्टैल्जिक फीलिंग्स, वन ऑफ द बेस्ट कंपनीज दैट आई हैव एवर सीन बीइंग बिल्ट इन इंडिया, राइट। मैं उसके बारे में बाद में बात करूंगा, लेकिन आपने पूछा कि ये स्टार्टअप और ये डीएनए क्या है, कि आप हमेशा ऐसा चीज में इन्वॉल्व होते हो।
Hmm.
इट इज नॉट वेल नोन एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम,
Yeah.
ओके, इट यू नो। तो देखिए, मेरे मेरे लाइफ के केस में ना, इट वाज मजबूरी।
Hmm.
मेरे पास एजुकेशन थी नहीं,
Hmm.
राइट। तो मैं जाके किसी बैंक में, या फिर किसी एज एन इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकर, या फिर एज एन एनालिस्ट इन सम कंपनी, मैं ऐसे जॉब्स कर ही नहीं सकता था, क्योंकि मुझे जॉब तो छोड़ो, मुझे उनका मतलब भी नहीं मालूम था, राइट। तो मेरे अंदर एक गट फीलिंग है, जिसको मैं मानता हूँ कि मेरा गट जो है, मैं उसको यू नो हैज बीन द प्राइमरी रीजन फॉर मी बीइंग वेयर आई एम टुडे।
Hmm.
लोग मुझे बोलते हैं यू आर वेरी सक्सेसफुल, यू नो, लुक वेयर यू हैव रीच्ड। मुझे नहीं पता है मैं कहाँ रीच हुआ हूँ, मुझे नहीं पता क्या सक्सेस है, यू नो। मैं आई डोंट मेजर सक्सेस विद दोस थिंग्स।
Hmm.
आई मेजर सक्सेस वेरी डिफरेंटली इन माई लाइफ, राइट। सो जब मैंने शुरुआत की ना संतोष, तो यही कंपनीज थी, जैसे येलो पेजेस थी, तो येलो पेजेस में सेल्स का जॉब अवेलेबल था, कोई भी कर सकता था उधर। ना डिग्री चाहिए, कुछ नहीं, आपके पास एक जज्बा होना चाहिए कि यू वांट टू गो एंड सेल,
Yeah.
राइट।
Correct.
बहुत मेहनत लगती थी,
Hmm.
राइट। तो पता नहीं क्या अंदर से एक गट जो बोलते हैं ना, अंदर से एक आवाज थी कि नहीं यार, ये तो काम करेगा,
Hmm.
राइट। और मेरे को तनख्वाह मिलती थी 800 रुपये महीने की। मेरा काम चल जाता था उससे। तो दैट इज हाउ आई स्टार्टेड।
Yeah.
और 6-7 साल में वो कंपनी बिकेम अ हाउस होल्ड नेम। इंडिया में हर इंसान उस कंपनी के बारे में जानता था, हर बिजनेसमैन।
Hmm.
जिस दिन हमने शुरुआत की थी, मैं पहले बार जिस कस्टमर से मिला था कि सर मैं येलो पेजेस से आया हूँ, राइट। तो पहले तो वो बंदा मुझे देख रहा था कि यार तू पेपर बेचने मेरे पास क्यों है,
Hmm.
और वो भी येलो कलर पेपर बेचने आया है, यू नो, ही वाज लाइक कंफ्यूज्ड।
Yeah.
और उसने पूछा भी मुझसे, तो मैं बोला नहीं नहीं सर, येलो पेजेस ऐसा एक कॉन्सेप्ट है, राइट, ये अमेरिका में बहुत बड़ा कॉन्सेप्ट है ऐसे। तो मैं उसको बैठ के समझाया। तो शुरुआत वहां से हुई कि इंडिया में येलो पेजेस होता क्या है,
Hmm.
वहां से समझाना पड़ा, राइट। तो वो जो हमने सक्सेस देखी येलो पेजेस में, उससे जिंदगी में एक समझ में मिल गई, यू नो, कि आप नया काम कर रहे हो, बिजनेस नया है, कॉन्सेप्ट नया है, लेकिन अगर आप 6-7 साल मेहनत करोगे, राइट, तो
Yeah.
आप उसको बना सकते हो बड़ा बिजनेस।
Hmm.
आपको ये नहीं सोचना है कि मुझे आईटी में ही जाना है, या फिर मुझे मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में ही जाना है, यू नो, या कोई भी डोमेन में, राइट। तो उससे जो मेरे को एक कॉन्फिडेंस मिला, वो
Hmm.
मेरे जिंदगी को फाउंडेशन स्टोन में मानता। उससे भी पहले मैंने खुद के दम पे एक मेरा, मैं वो स्टोरी डिटेल में नहीं बोलूंगा, लेकिन वो वेजिटेबल वेंडर्स के साथ में, मेरे
Hmm.
बहुत इंटरव्यूज में मैंने बात की है इसके बारे में। वो वेजिटेबल वेंडर्स के साथ में मिलके जो मैंने उनको सेकंड यू नो राउंड करवाने के लिए बोला था, आई नेवर न्यू दैट इट विल वर्क,
Hmm.
राइट।
Yeah.
बट व्हेन आई सॉ दो सक्सेसेस कि यार
Yeah.
नहीं, ये क्यों करता है, इसमें पैसा बनता है,
Hmm.
तो इतना समझ में आ गया कि चीज नया है, बिजनेस नया है, कॉन्सेप्ट नया है, लेकिन अगर मेहनत करेंगे तो बन जाएगा,
Hmm. Hmm.
राइट।
Correct. Absolutely.
तो टाइम
Yeah.
लगेगा।
Hmm. Just for the benefit of our viewers and our audiences, Rajesh started his journey in very tough and challenging times. Uh, Almost 6 to 8 months he stayed on Bangalore Railway Station. Uh, I can't even think of that, and he has gone through that pain, and probably that's where he said Majboori, right? The compulsions which he had to go through that pain, which is where he is today. He learned it a very different way, a very challenging way, but he's extremely successful. Your Bangalore railway station incident. Yes, I know you mentioned that a lot of people know about it. What were the learnings, Rajesh, where it's like you are street smart, or I would rather say station smart. You learned how to make life and move on. Of course, you had people to support you. How were the days? I mean, if you could go back, and I'm sorry to take you back, but if you could, because you are an inspiration, Rajesh, for a lot of people out there who are probably even in this same situation. In लोगों को आप एक, you could channel their thought processes in a positive way.
मैं दो चीजें बोलूंगा संतोष। देखिए, मेरे साथ जो जिंदगी में हुआ अर्ली स्टेज में, वो बहुत बुरा हुआ। और मैं नहीं चाहूंगा कि वो किसी और के साथ हो। भगवान करे किसी के साथ, राइट। लेकिन अगर किसी के साथ ऐसा होता है तो मैं आपको बताता हूँ मैंने क्या किया। मैंने उन हालात को मुझे डिफीट करने नहीं दिया। यू नो, आई फॉट दोस चैलेंजेस इन एन एथिकल एंड अ राइट वे, राइट। तो मैंने एक वन डे एट अ टाइम। देखिए क्या है कि आप जब आपको जिंदगी जब तकलीफ देती है ना, तो कोई मैजिक वॉन्ड नहीं होता है कि आप कल सुबह उठ के एकदम से राजा बन जाओगे और पूरी दुनिया आपको पहचानने लगेगी। देखो, एवरीबडी वांट्स नेम, फेम, मनी, राइट। वो मिलता है, लेकिन 20-30 साल की मेहनत लगती है उसमें। तो द फर्स्ट थिंग आई टोल्ड माई सेल्फ एट दैट एज इज, I mean, not consciously again.
You would be 15, 16, roughly approximate that age? Or
16
little
when I
more?
started, yeah, 16 when I started my first job, you know, and my first job was that of an office boy. मैं एक ऑफिस में 250 रुपये महीने का, मैं रोज सुबह झाड़ू, कटका, बर्तन धोना, वो सब वहां से मैंने शुरू की है जिंदगी, राइट। तो मेरा ये मानना है कि यू नो, मैंने अपने आप को ना हारते हुए देखा बहुत बार, लेकिन मैंने अपने आप को हारने नहीं दिया। यू नो, दैट्स द डिफरेंस, राइट। मैंने वो छोटी छोटी हार को इग्नोर किया। आई वोक अप द नेक्स्ट डे एंड आई फॉट अगेन, राइट। और वो करते 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 आई सॉ दैट यू नो देयर इज सक्सेस टू बी गेन्ड इफ यू वांट, राइट। द सेकंड थिंग आई लर्नड इन लाइफ इज, लाइफ इज नॉट सपोज्ड टू गिव यू एनीथिंग, यू नो, कि जिंदगी से मुझे ये नहीं मिला, जिंदगी से मुझे वो नहीं। जिंदगी से मिलना जरूरी नहीं है, आपका वो नसीब, आपको मिल गया तो मिल गया, राइट। लेकिन जिंदगी का कोई ऐसा ऑब्लिगेशन नहीं है कि आपको कुछ भी दे, राइट। जिंदगी से आपको अर्न करना पड़ता है। यू हैव टू अर्न इट एंड टेक इट, राइट। ये बहुत, मतलब यू नो, इन दैट सीक्वेंस इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। आप ना, मैं दोबारा रिपीट करूंगा कि यू हैव टू अर्न इट, and I'm not stopping there. You have to earn it and you have to take it. Okay, what I mean is कि बहुत लोग ना money wise, your show is called Sound of Money, बहुत लोग ना सक्सेस देखते हैं, they earn it, but they don't take it forward. So that is where my life's lessons have been कि you know, आपको जिंदगी में कितना भी टफ टाइम आ जाए, मायूस नहीं होना है। एंड यू नो, लुक एट वन डे एट अ टाइम। और उसके बाद में ना एक नया आपने शुरुआत में बात की कि यू नो, आई हैव ऑलवेज डन डिफरेंट थिंग्स। पहले येलो पेजेस, फिर जस्ट डायल। जस्ट डायल भी एक स्टार्टअप था, वो कॉन्सेप्ट ही नया था। हमारे जो फाउंडर थे मणि, उनका ब्रेन चाइल्ड था ये कॉन्सेप्ट। तो ये सारे नए कॉन्सेप्ट में, उसके बाद में India.com में आई वॉज द फर्स्ट इंडियन, पूरे इंडिया में मैं पहला इंडियन था जिसने इंटरनेट के ऊपर येलो पेजेस बनाया, राइट। मेरे को वो मौका मिला कि यू नो, सुनील लुल्ला साहब थे, ही वाज द सीईओ, एंड प्रदीप का, रूपर्ट मर्डॉक वाज वन ऑफ द इन्वेस्टर्स, यू नो, द बिगेस्ट इन्वेस्टर्स एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट। So I got a chance to create a yellow pages online. Now all of it required a lot of guts, and there was one line, you know, when I look back at my life, I ask, why did I do things which no one else was willing to do, right? Why was I willing to take those risks? Okay, the answer is because I didn't know it was tough. You know, nobody told me, मेरे को किसी ने आके ये नहीं बोला कि यू नो, इसको मत करो, राइट। लोग मेरे बारे में बहुत कुछ बोले होंगे उस समय कि ये पागल है, ये कर रहा है, वो कर रहा है, उसको किसी को समझ में नहीं आता। बट एक चीज मैंने, संतोष, थैंकफुली आई वाज स्टूपिड, ओके, कि मुझे नहीं पता था इट इज टफ। मुझे
Preconceived notions नहीं थे, can I put
नहीं,
it that way?
absolutely, Yeah.
Mm.
And that is why I was willing to give it everything. And
Yeah.
that is why I was able to succeed. And that is why those brands were able to succeed.
Yeah.
I mean, today, if I look at least about 4 or 5 brands in India that are household names, where I have been, crucial in
Mm.
building them,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
And in one lifetime, it's not easy to build 4, 5 household names in the
And
country.
that too in India, country like India. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I mean, it's very satisfying looking back.
True.
This is what.
True. Yeah. One key thing I observed when you were talking about your life journey, career journey so far is you didn't or you never had a formal education. And in
Correct.
spite of that, this is where you are. You started, what I understand, not just as an office boy. I believe even before that, you were at Bangalore Racecourse cleaning horses, right, in stables. And today, you're on a different level. And we'll talk about that success story there. But how important is education, Rajesh? Because the reason I'm coming is from, in today's society, parents, right? The kind of stress the kids go through, formal education, ye class karo, wo class karo, ye, coding ka course karo, after school, ye homework karo. And then end of the day, uh, what you get, right? I mean, it's important. I mean, in no way meaning demeaning the importance of education, but you are a classic person out there who's gone through the rigmarole and on a different level altogether. What do you see? What is your view on this?
So before I before I give you this answer, एजुकेशन हर बच्चे के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है. अगर कोई भी आपको बोलेगा कि एजुकेशन नहीं चाहिए, आपका मर्जी है, मानो या ना मानो, बट एजुकेशन इज इम्पोर्टेंट, राइट? बट व्हाट इज एजुकेशन? Education is not a certificate or a degree certificate from a college or a university which tells कि अभी ये MBA कर लिया, ये BSc कर लिया. वो education is not real education. Real education is what makes you capable to learn and to apply. राइट? आप अगर लर्न कर रहे हो, कॉन्सेप्ट समझ लिया, आपका रोट लर्निंग में आपने पूरा रट्टा मार लिया, फिर आपने उसको जाके एग्जाम पेपर पे उतार दिया, दैट इज नॉट एजुकेशन. अगर आपने कॉन्सेप्ट समझ लिया और उस कॉन्सेप्ट को आप दुनिया में अप्लाई करके उस कॉन्सेप्ट से लोगों का भला कर सकते हो, अपने लिए पैसा कमा सकते हो, मेरे हिसाब से वो एजुकेशन, राइट? अब वो आपको कहाँ से मिलती है, कैसे मिलती है, पेरेंट्स को भी ये समझना चाहिए कि मेरा बच्चा अगर 100 में से 99 मार्क्स लेके आया तो वो कोई गारंटी नहीं कि वो कोई बड़ा आदमी बनेगा या सक्सेसफुल बनेगा. गारंटी नहीं, बन सकता है, राइट? और ये भी गारंटी नहीं कि अगर कोई 100 में से 40 मार्क ला रहा है कि वो जिंदगी भर फेल होता रहेगा. वो भी गारंटी नहीं है, राइट? वो बच्चा आगे चल के बहुत बड़ा काम कर सकता है, पेरेंट्स को मतलब पूरे दुनिया में आपका नाम रोशन कर सकता है. तो in understanding concepts and applying those concepts to do something good is education, according to me. Second part of this answer is, again, my opinion, is लोग बोलते हैं कि एजुकेशन चाहिए और टैलेंट चाहिए जिंदगी में सक्सेस के लिए, राइट? टैलेंट कहाँ से आता है? टैलेंट इज नेचुरल की इज नेचुरली टैलेंटेड, ही इज गिफ्टेड, राइट? अब मेरा मैं आपको एक सिंपल सा बोलता हूँ कि अगर आपके पास मोटिवेशन है कुछ भी करने के लिए, राइट? और अगर आपके पास एक डिटर्मिनेशन है कि मुझे जिंदगी में कुछ करना है, राइट? और उसके साथ में आपके पास पैशन है करने के लिए, राइट? ये तीनों अगर आपके पास है तो यू विल ऑलवेज बीट अ गाय, ओके, विथ गुड एजुकेशन एंड विथ गुड टैलेंट. If that guy doesn't have, what I'm trying to say is, if a guy has education and talent but doesn't have the motivation, passion, or determination, then
Correct.
So Steve Jobs, had said in one of his interviews that we hire smart people to tell us what to do. Not, we don't hire smart people to tell them what to do.
Yeah, good one.
This
Yeah,
is correct, right?
true.
I mean, you apply that over here, आपको पता चलेगा that even if you're Steve Jobs, right? Realization that I have limitations, मैं कुछ इतना ही कर सकता हूँ, मेरे को भी टीम चाहिए जो मुझे आके बोले कि इसको मैं और आगे कैसे बढ़.
Yeah, correct.
Right? So that is what it is. So education is important. but the right way of getting education is more important.
So, Rajesh, you have seen life and more importantly, the value of money from one end of the spectrum to a completely different level of spectrum. My question to you is, how important is money in life for you?
Okay, tough question. क्योंकि अगर मैं बोलूंगा कि मनी इज नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट, इट्स क्लीशेड. ओके, जिसने पैसा नहीं कमाया वो बोलेगा यार तेरे लिए आसान है बोलना. और अगर मैं बोलूंगा मनी इज एवरीथिंग, राइट, आई एम गिविंग द रॉन्ग मैसेज. ओके, सो मेरी जिंदगी में लोग समझते हैं, अच्छा मैं बोलता हूँ कि मेरी जिंदगी में पैसा इंपॉर्टेंट है, कमाना चाहिए और कमाते रहना चाहिए टिल द लास्ट डे ऑफ योर लाइफ. क्योंकि पैसे से ही आप अच्छा काम कर सकते हो, राइट. पैसे के बगैर आप अच्छा काम भी नहीं कर सकते हो, राइट. मेरी जिंदगी बहुत सिंपल है संतोष. मतलब आप अगर देखोगे मैं दिन में कितना खाता हूँ और मैं कैसे जीता हूँ, मैं कौन सी कार चलाता हूँ, तो आपको पता चलेगा कि मनी इज, आई डोंट इक्वेट दैट विथ, you
The
know,
status, probably.
not the status symbols, and I don't equate them with. But having said that, अगर आप जिंदगी में कुछ अच्छा काम करना चाहते हो, राइट, और तो उसके लिए पैसा चाहिए, राइट, तो उसके लिए कमाना है. मनी इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. हाउ डू यू बिल्ड मनी? द क्वेश्चन इज, एवरीबॉडी वॉन्ट गेट अपॉर्चुनिटीज लाइक व्हाट यू गॉट और आई हैव गॉट. हर एक को ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले ना मिले पता नहीं है, राइट. लेकिन सबको एक तरीका, फॉर्मूला हो सकता है कि मैं जिंदगी में कैसे पैसे को, वेल्थ, आई एम सॉरी, आई विल यूज द वर्ड वेल्थ, मैं कैसे अपने हिसाब से वेल्थ क्रिएट कर सकता हूँ, राइट. तो बहुत सिंपल फॉर्मूलाज हैं संतोष. अगर आपको, मतलब इंडिया में आज कोई कोई भी इस पॉडकास्ट को सुन रहा है, तो सबसे पहले तो आप अगर 100 रुपए कमाते हो, राइट, तो आप कोशिश करो कि 100 रुपए में से 20-25 रुपए तो आप सेव कर लो. और वो सेव करके प्लीज आप सेविंग्स अकाउंट में, एफडी में रखने की गलती मत करो. 90% लोग ये गलती करते हैं, उसमें से वेल्थ क्रिएट नहीं होता है, राइट. क्योंकि आपको भी पता है कि अगर आप एफडी में भी रखोगे तो एफडी का इंटरेस्ट 7%, 8% डजंट बीट इन्फ्लेशन ऑल्सो, राइट. तो क्या करें? तो वो आपका जो सेविंग है उसमें से कुछ पैसा आप एसआईपी में डाल दो, म्यूचुअल फंड्स में, एसआईपीज में डाल दो. और वो कभी ऊपर होगा कभी नीचे होगा, उससे यू हैव टू स्टे फोकस्ड, स्टे इन्वेस्टेड इन द लॉन्ग टर्म. इंडिया इज अ ब्यूटीफुल स्टोरी. अगले 15-20 साल तक इंडिया इज जस्ट गोइंग टू ग्रो एंड ग्रो अनलेस एंड अनटिल देयर इज अ नेचुरल डिजास्टर और a war like situation. I mean, otherwise India has nothing to fear.
Worry about, yeah.
Absolutely. तो एक तो एसआईपी. एक दूसरा बहुत आसान तरीका हो गया आज. पहले हम लोग बोलते थे कि यार जिंदगी में एक प्रॉपर्टी ले लो, क्योंकि प्रॉपर्टी अप्रिशिएट होता है, राइट. आप घर खरीद लो, आप लैंड खरीद लो. इस पे मेरा एक टेक है कि एक इंसान को इंडिया में पैसे कैसे एक वेल्थ क्रिएट करना चाहिए, राइट. तो देखिए, सबसे पहली चीज तो आजकल फ्रैगमेंटेड ओनरशिप ऑफ रियल एस्टेट हो गया है. देर आर कंपनीज, जैसे मैं एक एग्जांपल दूंगा, ऑल्ट. डिस्क्लेमर है, आई एम वन ऑफ द इन्वेस्टर्स इन दैट कंपनी. हाउएवर, मैं इसलिए नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि आई एम इन्वेस्टर. आप उसको इवेल्युएट करिए, आपको अच्छा लगे तो सोचिए. सिंपल सा लॉजिक है संतोष, कि आपको अगर 1 करोड़ का घर खरीदना है, आपके पास 1 करोड़ है नहीं है, तो आप उसके ऊपर लोन लोगे. इससे अच्छा है कि आप उस घर में से 5 स्क्वायर फीट हर महीने खरीद लो, राइट. 1 स्क्वायर फीट खरीद लो यार. आई मीन, हर महीने 1 स्क्वायर फीट खरीदोगे तो भी आपका कुछ सेविंग हो रहा है. और जैसे जैसे उसका अप्रिसिएशन होगा, उसका अप्रिसिएशन आपको मिलेगा. ओके, रेसिडेंशियल में रेंटल इनकम बहुत कम होता है, बट जो भी कम होगा तो भी आपको उसमें से कुछ मिलेगा, राइट.
करेक्ट.
तो ऐसे अपॉर्चुनिटीज हमारे टाइम पे थे ही नहीं. आपके पास ये अपॉर्चुनिटीज.
ट्रू, ट्रू, एब्सोल्युटली.
कुछ पैसा रियल एस्टेट में लगाओ, कुछ पैसा एसआईपी में लगाओ. हाई रिस्क इन्वेस्टमेंट पे मैं एडवाइज नहीं करूंगा अगर आपका कॉर्पस बहुत छोटा है. लेकिन अगर आपके पास काफी सारा पैसा है, सेविंग्स हो गए हैं, तो 5%, 7% ऑफ योर टोटल, अगर आपके पास 10 लाख रुपए हैं तो आप 50,000 रुपए का रिस्क ले सकते हो हाई रिस्क इन्वेस्टमेंट. स्टार्टअप्स में लगाना चाहो, again, my advice, think hard, because स्टार्टअप में पैसा लगाना सट्टा है,
Hmm.
राइट? वो जीरो हो सकता है विद इन नो टाइम,
Yeah.
और वो 100 गुना भी हो सकता है, वो उसका कोई गारंटी नहीं है,
Hmm.
राइट? तो वेल्थ कमाने के लिए माय टेक ऑन मनी इज, प्लीज
Yeah.
अर्न मनी, प्लीज save it in the right way, and today there are very good platforms like Zerodha with like
Yeah.
Grow.
Hmm.
आपके लिए आसान है, क्योंकि आप फोन पे पूरा दिन लगे रहते हो, तो फोन पे 2 मिनट में आप उधर बाय सेल सब कर सकते हो, यू डोंट नीड अ एजेंट. अगेन, आई हैव नो इंटरेस्ट इन Zerodha, नो इंटरेस्ट इन Grow, दोज आर गुड प्लेटफॉर्म्स,
Yeah.
मेरा कोई देना नहीं है
Yeah.
उन प्लेटफॉर्म
Hmm.
से, राइट? मैं बस इतना बोल रहा हूँ कि आज जिंदगी आसान है
Hmm.
आपको करने के लिए. इसको हम बोलते हैं, हाउ डू यू क्रिएट पैसिव इनकम,
Yeah. Correct.
राइट? आपको पैसिव इनकम जब आने लगेगा ना, आपका वेल्थ क्रिएशन का पहला स्टेप वो है,
Correct.
राइट?
Correct.
और उस पैसिव इनकम से आप और एक्स्ट्रा पैसिव इनकम कमा सकते हो, और ये अगर आप 10-15 साल करोगे, तो 15 साल बाद आपको सडनली लगने लगेगा कि यार वंडरफुल, यार मैंने अच्छा कर लिया जिंदगी में.
True. True.
और बहुत लोग ना इंडिया में रेसिडेंशियल एक घर खरीदना है रहने के लिए,
Hmm.
अगर कर सकते हो तो अच्छा है, लेकिन फाइनेंशियली इट्स अ रॉन्ग डिसीजन, क्योंकि रेंटिंग अ हाउस इज चीपर देन बाइंग,
Cheaper. Absolutely. Yeah.
राइट?
Yeah.
अगर आपके पास पैसा है भी, तो आप वो पैसा कमर्शियल प्रॉपर्टी में लगा सकते हो, रेंट पे रह सकते हो, आप बिजनेस में लगा सकते हो, आप रेंट पे रह सकते हो. सो यू हैव टू बी स्मार्ट विथ मनी,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you are, then money making is good.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then you are the right person, and you can do a lot of good work with that money.
Yeah. But where did you actually learn the value of money? I'm sure some incident in your life probably led you to learn the value of money that you recall.
Very important. बहुत सारे इंसिडेंट्स हैं. मैं
Mm-hmm.
आपको एक बहुत ही इमोशनल इंसिडेंट बताता हूँ. जिस दिन मेरे मदर की डेथ हुई थी, तो मम्मी की डेथ हुई थी रात को अराउंड 10 बजे. अगले दिन सुबह क्रिमेशन करना है, और अगले दिन सुबह मेरे पास पैसे नहीं थे, क्रिमेशन के पैसे नहीं थे. तो मैं उस वक्त एक कंपनी में काम कर रहा था. तो मैंने अपने बॉस को फ़ोन किया, और मैं उस कंपनी में 3-4 साल काम कर चुका था. तो मैंने बॉस को फ़ोन मैसेज भेजा थ्रू समबडी कि मम्मी की डेथ हो गई है, अर्जेंटली 5,000 रुपये चाहिए. शायद बॉस बिजी थे, भूल गए होंगे, पैसे आए नहीं. और सुबह 8-9 बजे से लेके 12:30-1 बजे तक मैं मम्मी के बॉडी के पास बैठा हूँ, वेट कर रहा हूँ, और हार्ट ब्रोकन. आई एम लुकिंग एट माई मॉम एंड थिंकिंग कि यार कैसा बैठा है तू. ओके, एंड इट वाज वेरी टफ. थैंकफुली अ गुड समैरिटन, वो मेरे साथ काम करता था उस कंपनी में, उसने लाके मुझे पैसे दे दिए. उसका नाम था बद्री नारायण. ये 1995 की बात है, मैं उसको आज तक नहीं भूला हूँ. मैं उसको आज तक हर जगह पे हाथ जोड़ के बोलता हूँ, भाई तू भगवान था मेरे लिए उस दिन.
Mm-hmm.
तो वो आके मेरे को पैसे दे दिया, उसने कुछ बोला भी नहीं, और मुझे लगा मेरे को कंपनी से पैसे आ गए.
Yeah.
तो क्रिमेशन हुआ. फिर उसके अगले 1-2 दिन के बाद में मुझे पता चला कि नहीं आया था पैसा. वो एक इंसिडेंट था जिसने मेरे को जिंदगी में ऐसा झापड़ मारा. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैंने सोचा कि ये तो सही नहीं है. आई मीन, आई एम नॉट वर्थ लिविंग इफ आई एम इन दिस सिचुएशन. द वैल्यू ऑफ मनी, सिर्फ 5,000 रुपीज उस समय मेरी जरूरत थी. द वैल्यू ऑफ दैट मनी, ओके, आई अंडरस्टूड दैट डे कि यार इतना तो मेरे पास सेविंग होना चाहिए था, राइट? इतना तो मेरे को, इतना स्मार्टनेस तो होना चाहिए था मेरे अंदर कि मैं हर महीने 200-300 रुपए भी सेव कर लेता, राइट? और उसको मैं अच्छे से इन्वेस्ट कर लेता, तो मेरे पास ये टाइम देखने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. ऐसे बहुत इंसिडेंट्स है संतोष मेरे जिंदगी में, और क्योंकि मेरे पास कोई फॉर्मल टीचर नहीं था,
Mm.
और कि मेरे फादर की डेथ हो गई थी व्हेन आई वाज 12 years old, तो सिखाने वाले वो भी नहीं थे। तो ऑब्वियसली ये सारे मेरी जो लेसन्स हैं मेरे लाइफ में वो सब अपने एक्सपीरियंस से ही आए हैं। दिस वाज वन ऑफ दोस इंसिडेंट्स
Hmm.
which made me realize the value of money.
Yeah.
One,
In fact, yeah, just one, but there are many. And I remember there is one more I did when I was doing research, I came across was there was a coolie on Bangalore Railway Station who also, in the worst situation of your life, probably, as you rightly said, no one should ever come across such a situation. A coolie helped you. Maybe if you could share what the reason where I come from, Rajesh, is the importance of Samaritans is so important. You are on the screen sharing, but there may be so many millions of Indians. There is somebody who has touched their heart at some point in their worst time in life, probably, right?
या मैं आपको देखिए ये बैंगलोर रेलवे स्टेशन पे जब देर आर मेनी नाइट्स
Hmm.
when I used to be hungry, okay, और मैं बोलता नहीं था, तो there was one gentleman, and God bless him, he is no longer alive, but
Hmm.
वो रात को कभी कभी 2 बजे 1 बजे वो एक चाय और 2 बन लेके आते थे,
Hmm.
बोलते थे बेटा खा लो। आई यूज्ड टू से नहीं मेरे को भूख नहीं लगी, मैंने खाना खा लिया था। ही वुड से कि ठीक है खाना थोड़ा ही है, ऐसे भी वेस्ट हो रहा है, मैं 2 तो खा नहीं पाऊंगा इस उम्र में, एक तू खा ले, ठीक है आधी आधी चाय पी लेंगे, एक बन मैं खा लूंगा एक बन तू खा ले, करके वो खिला देते थे। एंड ही मस्ट हैव डन इट सेवरल टाइम्स, राइट। सो इस दुनिया में ऐसे आज भी लोग हैं, और आप और मैं हैं रास्ते पे, हमारे देश में तो ऐसे इतने लोग हैं, किसी को भूखा देख के खुद खिला देते हैं कुछ ना कुछ। तो जो अगर सुन रहे हैं हमारा पॉडकास्ट, तो सिंपल है, अगर आपको कोई भूखा इंसान दिखे तो उसको खिला दो यार,
Yeah.
आपका कुछ नहीं जाने वाला है। और
True.
कभी कभी हम लोग ना आजकल ट्रस्ट नहीं करते हैं, हम लोग सोचते हैं इसके पास खाने के पैसे होंगे लेकिन ये दारू पीता होगा, उससे
Hmm.
तो
Organized crime होगा, ये सब kind of negative thoughts.
तो होगा। अब मुझे नहीं पता है सच क्या है,
Correct.
लेकिन मैं आपको एक बात बोलता हूँ कि जब वो भूख लगती है ना किसी के पास और नहीं होता है, तो वो तकलीफ बहुत ज्यादा होती है। तो अगर आपसे होता है ना खिलाने के लिए तो खिला दो। तो वो जो इंसान ने मेरे को खिलाया, मेरे को जिंदगी ने मौका दिया कि आई कैन डू दिस फॉरवर्ड टू मेनी
Yeah. Yeah.
पीपल,
Yeah. True.
और
True.
आई एम थैंकफुल टू गॉड।
Hmm.
मैं भगवान को कैसे थैंक यू बोलूं मुझे नहीं पता है क्यों।
Hmm.
आज मेरे मेरे अंदर वो ताकत है कि मैं करता हूँ, मेरे से जो होता है मैं वो करता हूँ, एंड ऑब्वियसली डोंट वांट टू टॉक अबाउट इट
Yeah. Yeah.
in these forums. Yeah. So that incident was, I mean, that's not one incident. He fed me so many times, and
Yeah.
I hope he's come back in some other form, and I've been able to feed him. If I
Hmm.
have, I hope I get another birth to come and feed him. That's
True.
the feeling I have for him.
True, true. Rajesh, let's come to corporate life. And I think this is where I want you to share your experiences and your thoughts. In today's corporate life, the kind of fast paced life we in cities across the world come across, if I had to really drill down to, if anybody I were to ask, what are the key problems one faces? That there are typically two problems. One is toxic work culture. And the second one is work life disbalance or imbalance. I would rather put it as imbalance instead of saying balance. Even that word doesn't suit it, right? So, toxic work culture and work life imbalance. I want you to share some of your experiences if you've come across, or maybe working with colleagues. Otherwise, you would have spoken to a lot of, and I know there is no one quick solution to it, but at least that awareness is important because toxic work culture and work life imbalance is leading to a lot of mental health issues across, right? Families get devastated, lives, people are committing suicides, whatnot. What's your take on this?
Oh, so relevant today, so very relevant. Toxic work culture के बारे में आपने बात की. It has been relevant yesterday, it is relevant today, it will be relevant tomorrow because it has to do with human behavior.
Hmm.
Okay, every person working in a company is coming from an upbringing of his own or her own. So some people have a challenge, the minute they get certain powers,
Yeah.
they sit in a managerial position or they're in a position to decide something, they suddenly become, sometimes, not all, okay, some people become very, what do you say, nasty.
Mm.
There, then there is also this problem that, our education system, going back, our education doesn't system doesn't teach you to be a good human being. It teaches you different things. What are formulas? What is math? What this plus that means? But it doesn't teach you, how to understand a colleague or your subordinates, genuine issues.
Yeah.
Right. So these are things I've gone through. I've gone through these kind of situations. And before I tell you about my incident, see, most companies that are losing people because the culture in that organization is toxic, and that may not be the organization's mistake.
Mm.
That may be the mistake of someone who's sitting in a position of power who's abusing it.
Yeah.
Right. That has to be seen. And I had a boss, my first boss in my a very early company. वो बेचारा हैंडीकैप था, हैंडीकैप नॉट फिजिकली, वो हैंडीकैप था, उसको समझ में नहीं आता था कि व्हाट इज टीम बिल्डिंग, व्हाट इज ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल कल्चर,
Mm.
व्हाट इज द राइट बिहेवियर फॉर अ मैनेजर,
Mm.
तो वो हर मौके पे मेरे को इंसल्ट करता था. आई वॉज वन ऑफ द टॉप परफॉर्मर्स, नॉट इन द सिटी, आई वॉज वन ऑफ द टॉप परफॉर्मर्स इन द कंट्री. और वो मेरे को हर मौके पे मेरे मुंह पे बोलता था कि यू आर यूजलेस, यू विल नेवर ग्रो इन दिस कंपनी, आई विल नेवर लेट यू ग्रो इन दिस कंपनी. तो मैं सोचता था यार ये क्या कर लेगा, मैं परफॉर्म कर रहा हूँ, राइट, मेरे नंबर सही हैं, आई वाज इन सेल्स, तो सेल्स नंबर स्पीक.
Yeah.
तो आई यूज्ड टू ऑलवेज थिंक दैट आई एम गोइंग टू बी फाइन, माय नंबर्स आर डूइंग गुड. Then came the day when I was supposed to be, promotions were supposed to be announced. And I went all excited and told everyone in my family ki life is going to get better. Kal se hum thoda better khayenge. You know, that is my reality of life. He doesn't understand that, this
Yeah.
promotion means 1,000 rupees more salary. And that 1,000 rupees means my family will eat better. वो नहीं
Yeah.
समझता. He didn't even think that way.
Mm.
Right? So when the promotions were announced, and I didn't get promoted. जब नहीं मिली प्रमोशन तो एकदम डिसहार्टन था. And आप मानोगे नहीं संतोष, आई वॉज फिजिकली सिक. I went to the washroom and I was puking, and within about half an hour, because I was like heartbroken. आप सोच रहे हो मेरे लिए वो that was life has come to an end.
Mm.
कि जिस प्रमोशन के लिए पिछले 2 साल से मैंने मेहनत की, I deserve it, मेरे नंबर सही हैं, ठीक है, मुझे क्यों नहीं मिली. Then I went and asked him कि क्या हुआ अजय, मुझे प्रमोशन क्यों नहीं मिली. तो बोलता है कि आई टोल्ड यू नो यू डोंट डिजर्व इट. आई डोंट नो व्हाट हैपेंड टू मी. मैंने उसको बोला भाई, आई व्हाट डू यू मीन आई डोंट लुक एट माय नंबर्स. ये सब बात हो गई. फिर मैंने बोला देख,
Mm.
को एक बात बोलता हूँ, मार्क माय वर्ड, नेक्स्ट ईयर आई विल बी इन द सेम पोजीशन एज यू, एंड द ईयर आफ्टर दैट आई विल बी योर बॉस, राइट. एंड ये मार्क माय वर्ड करके मैंने उसको बोल दिया. तो ही गॉट वेरी, let's see, you're useless.
Yeah. Mm.
I did something. I went and spoke to my super boss, और मैंने उनको बोला बॉस ये है सिचुएशन.
Mm.
आप मेरे को कोई भी चैलेंज कर दो सेल्स में, आई विल अचीव द नंबर्स, ठीक है.
Yeah.
और जिस दिन मैं अचीव कर लूंगा ना, आप या तो मुझे प्रमोट करोगे या तो मैं रिजाइन कर,
Mm.
राइट. तो दैट्स व्हाट हैपेंड इन द नेक्स्ट 2-3 weeks. I performed, and I performed like as if I was on a death sentence कि either perform or you die.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did, and my company thankfully recognized it. Within some 3 weeks, I got promoted. I was on par with him.
Wow. Okay.
And that year we beat his team, our team versus his team then,
Mm.
we beat his team by, hands down margins. And year after that, the company was starting a new branch. and they needed a branch manager. And I was the first choice. I got promoted, and to his bad luck, he was shifted to that branch,
And he was reporting to you. Oh my God.
reporting to me. और संतोष, मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ, फॉर द फर्स्ट 2 वीक्स और 1 वीक ना, आई डोंट रिमेम्बर, एक हफ्ता भर मैं अपने सीट पे नहीं बैठा, और मैं इस बंदे से मैं मिला ही नहीं। यार मैं कैसे अपने बॉस के बुला के
and and more so आपने तो उनको चैलेंज दिया था कि I will be there, right?
that was
So,
a no, that was the first time I realized something in life. उस दिन मेरे को पता चला कि यार, अगर आप दिल से कुछ चाहते हो ना, और अगर आप मेहनत करते हो, उसका फल आपको पक्का मिलेगा।
true, true.
और वो 2 हफ्ते में मिलेगा, 2 साल में मिलेगा, मुझे नहीं पता है, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आपको उसका फल नहीं मिलेगा।
Hmm.
तो वो इंसिडेंट मैं कभी नहीं भूलता हूँ। आज थैंकफुली ही इज स्टिल अ गुड फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन। ओवर द इयर्स मैंने, व्हेन आई बिकेम हिज बॉस, मैंने एक चीज अपने आप को प्रॉमिस की कि उसने जैसे भी मुझे ट्रीट किया हो, मैं उसको बहुत इज्जत से और इन द राइट, वॉट एवर ही डिजर्व्स, आई विल ट्रीट हिम वेल।
Wonderful. Hmm.
सो
Yeah.
आई थिंक that was good karma again.
Yeah, yeah. How about any instances, any sharing of experiences on work-life imbalance, if I were to put it brutally? You would have interacted with a lot of companies, employees, stakeholders. What's your take on it? As a country, do you think somewhere there needs to be some kind of a regulation? Maybe we never know, where it needs to be brought in some kind of work-life balance, right? So I'll give you an example, right? Take the example of banking, where somewhere at one point in time, the Reserve Bank did say, okay, second and fourth Saturdays off, right? So at least it brought in some kind of regulation where at least people look forward to a weekend. Otherwise, what was happening, that whatever Saturday people were working was also as good as a full 6-day week. It did work. Now, at least mandatorily, you have a Saturday, second and fourth off. So do you think this kind of initiative, and more so important in private sector, could help?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I think work-life imbalance is also largely because of the way people work. At least in my circle,
Yeah.
I see a lot of people working very hard
Hmm.
after office.
Hmm.
I see a lot of people working very hard on Saturdays trying to be in office. I don't know why.
Hmm.
Uh, so it takes two hands to clap.
Yeah.
तो ये जो वर्क लाइफ इम्बैलेंस की आप बात कर रहे हो, ये है,
Hmm.
मैं मान रहा हूँ, लेकिन ये इट्स नॉट जस्ट क्रिएटेड बाय कंपनीज, ओके?
Yeah. Hmm.
Companies have created, any company will have goals for you,
Yeah.
whatever you are, right? If you have the ability to go and discuss the goals with your superiors, and if you think the goals are not realistic,
Hmm.
uh, difficult to achieve, then you must upfront talk to your superiors and tell them, boss, listen, these goals are unrealistic. Okay, I don't think we should go after these goals. You suggest what the goals should be. So always goal should be a combination of both, the one who's setting it as well as the one who's going to achieve it together,
Hmm.
setting it.
Hmm.
If you allow only the team to set a goal, then they will set goals which are very easy to achieve the
Yeah.
organizational
Yeah.
challenge.
Will not go nowhere. Yeah.
That's going to be a problem. So, number one, from a work-life imbalance point of view, if you have taken up a job in a company, uh, and you're looking at it as a job, this is my job, there's a problem.
Yeah.
You don't have to be an employee. You have to be an entrepreneur inside
Hmm.
the company. You got to think this is your company, right? And you got to believe that you are the best person to do the job. Then you will start enjoying the job. The minute you start enjoying the job, okay, you will figure out ways to achieve results, okay, within a given time. You will figure out a way to, and today, you will figure out what technology to use.
Yeah.
We are in the world of chat GPT and generative AI, and everything, there are
As a
ERP.
tech in that. Yeah.
Your life can be very easy, right? If you want to make it easy. You've got to think beyond. You've got to think out of the box कि ये जो मैं काम कर रहा हूँ इसको कैसे मैं आधे टाइम में कर सकता हूँ.
Hmm.
How can I finish it by 2 o'clock in the afternoon? And that is your smartness,
Yeah.
right? How do you go? I mean, why don't you go talk to people in great positions who have figured out to be successful yet have a good work-life balance?
Yeah.
Go find out how are they doing it. I think it is possible to do. In terms of regulation, आपने बोला कि can government bring regulation into something like this? I don't think I'm in a position to comment on it. Okay, I don't believe it should.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I believe that if the government has to bring a regulation telling private companies कि आप employees को कितना काम करवाओगे कितना नहीं करवाओगे, then if goals are not being met, there should also be support, financial support to those companies.
Hmm.
आप जब एक कंपनी चलाते हो as an entrepreneur, आपको उसका पेन पता चलता है.
Yeah.
So you can't make it all rosy for employees and make it extremely difficult for founders.
Yeah.
You can't make it the other way around. That balance has to come from all sides for it to work.
Hmm.
You see, many of the Western countries, there may be concepts like this. Okay, there is support, there is financial support for such companies.
Yeah.
There is an ecosystem around how should a founder be supported.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
when you have all of that, yes, please bring regulation. If you
Yeah.
don't bring regulation around it. That's my
Absolutely. Yeah.
again, these are my thoughts.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's talk about startup culture. And you have been at the forefront right from, I believe, early 2000, even late 90s, I'm sure. And that, as we discussed, when the word startup itself was not really in trend, from what you saw then to what you see now, I'm sure it's a huge difference, and it's also progressive, right? What are the kind of advantages that you see for startups in India today, and probably the challenges going forward? And where do you see are the gaps that you think need to be plugged in? And it's like, I wish I was there to be in their place. I would do something better. Probably any wish list in that space.
Yeah. So let's talk about let's talk about the startup founder mindset.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, why is a founder? I've already spoken about it. If you are venturing into a startup and you're trying to build a product, why are you doing it? Is
Hmm.
there a problem in the market?
Hmm.
If you're able to solve a real, genuine problem that affects millions of people, okay, then yes, please, by all means.
Yeah.
Two, you need to identify why are you the right person to solve that problem. There are, what makes you qualified enough to solve that problem?
Hmm.
Or have you actually gone through this pain so much that, it's a, burning desire for you to solve this problem?
Yeah.
Right? Then three, a lot of today's problems, right? One or maybe it's past and it's behind us now. There was a time when everybody would read in the newspapers and on your story and on various platforms. So and so raised 10 million, 5 million, 20
Yeah.
million, 100. And then they would think that that's it. He's become a hero now. He's raised. तो वो मतलब हीरो बन गया. उसको तो पकड़ना मुश्किल है. Whereas he's just signed probably I wanted to use the word death warrant, but I'll be careful about it. Okay, because see, if you have raised money, okay, what you've done is you've taken on a huge burden on your shoulders
Yeah.
to multiply that money.
True.
Okay.
Hmm.
But a lot of the people who got into startups believed that it was their birthright to get that money. And if they met an investor, then the investor has to give him the money. That was the mindset that I saw.
Yeah.
One of those problems has to be solved where you don't deserve money until and unless you have the ability to multiply it.
Yeah.
That is one. Second thing is valuations. In most cases, valuations are like at the forefront of everything. Okay, there is no talk about value building. It's all about valuations.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's a problem in the startup culture.
Do you see that even today, Value
I
valuations
I
versus value building?
I think it's a little behind us today. Maybe about we are about if I look at the last 6 to 8 months,
Hmm.
the last quarter of the last year and the first quarter of this year, I think there is a lot more reality that set in.
Hmm.
Valuation corrected. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so those kind of things have changed. So that's a good sign. Okay.
Yeah.
uh, Also, again, another thing that's in the past was the fact that, you built businesses to acquire consumers.
Hmm.
And you thought that, we'll figure out monetization at a later date. Again, that's, it, and everybody who's listening to me knows it. That's a thing in the past. You've got to now start making money at the earliest. Okay.
Realistically, yeah.
Statistically, okay. And I have spoken in some of my other interviews. The Indian consumer is unforgiving, and the Indian consumer is not loyal, right?
Hmm.
The Indian consumer will go to any new platform that will offer him a better price tomorrow, no
Correct.
matter what you've done for him today,
Yes.
right? So just consumer, acquisition is not going to be of any value in the future, right?
Hmm.
That's one mindset that has changed. It is changing, and it will change
Yeah.
further.
Hmm.
Corporate governance, as we've seen in the recent past, last
Yeah.
couple of years, today the startup ecosystem is struggling to
Hmm.
raise,
Yeah.
right? I've been talking to some of my friends who are in the VC, and the P rounds. I mean,
Hmm.
the private equity players, both in India and the US, and everybody's struggling. Okay, there are several struggles. One struggle
So
is
if you could double click and tell us what are the struggles, because this is also a podcast for would be, startup guys who would love to get into it, and they leave their jobs and they get into startups. I'm sure you come across many. Of course, a lot of them will succeed, but at the same time, there have been, if there's no proper planning, no proper execution, more so, then families are getting devastated. So if you could double click on what are those kind of challenges.
I may want to differ on your statement. Many of them will succeed.
Wonderful.
Um, some of them will succeed,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's not wrong.
Yeah. True. Of course. Yeah.
It's okay to fail,
Hmm.
and it's
Hmm.
okay to fail several times.
Hmm.
Okay, but you made a very important point. If their families are getting devastated by that, they shouldn't,
Hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They have to make that call, saying that, I have the ability, my family has the ability to take it. So then they should get into it. Otherwise, don't,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, what is the struggle with the VCs and PEs that I hear from friends? One is that they are finding it extremely difficult to raise, more money.
Hmm.
If they are struggling to raise more money, it means that it's going to have an impact on, uh, startups raising money.
Yeah.
Whatever money is left with the VCs and the PEs, and whatever little money they are about to raise, will go into funding already funded startups. So
Yeah.
somebody who be at a Series B may do a Series C, may do a Series D. Okay, but again, that will be the size of the round will be smaller compared to 2 years ago,
Hmm.
as well as the valuations will be, or the terms will be extremely different from
Yeah.
what it used earlier. So it's a impact from there to the startups, and that impact will then percolate down to hiring, right? So when these startups are hiring, I mean, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you heard, 2 years ago, you heard insane stories, especially tech talent getting hired at some insane salaries, you know. And what it has done is the good talent, that's available in the market is difficult to hire at a reasonable price. Therefore, um, hiring will become even more difficult because there's lesser money now.
Yeah.
But guys who got, tasted blood and they want big money,
Hmm.
uh, that is another problem altogether that we are going to talk about. That you're going to see uh, real corrections. It's already happening.
Yeah.
Okay, salaries are getting more, down by about 20-30%. It will continue to stay there. I
Okay.
don't go back.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Got it.
It may go back in the case of an extremely rare talent. Okay, but it will not happen, if you're just another engineer and you're expecting, very high salaries. You're not going to get it. So that's a nice correction that has happened. I am all for it.
Okay.
I'm not saying people should not get more money. I am saying people should earn more money by doing more work or better work.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Also, I just want to add to this that, I think a lot of the founders will have to start, like you asked me, what will I do? I think as a founder, one of the things that you'll have to start doing is you'll have to start accepting that, your teams are going to start picking up gigs.
Good
right?
point. Yeah.
And those gigs are actually good for you as a company, because the burden of paying, is not on you alone.
Yeah.
Two, there is also additional learning for your employee or for your team member. I don't like calling them employees. So, your team is learning new or different things from different gigs. And but gigs are here to stay.
Yeah.
Now, that is the big, development that's happened, and it's a great development that's happening. So this, um, you know, suddenly everywhere you're reading about 20,000 people have been laid off this month, and
Yeah.
5,000 people have been laid off that month. It's okay. It's okay. If they've been laid off today, they were hired at some point of time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it didn't make news at that time. No media company covered saying 2 lakh additional people got jobs this month.
Yeah.
We never heard about it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's happening for a reason. Okay, overpaid.
Yes.
They're probably not delivering value that is supposed to. Probably the businesses are not taking off the way they're supposed to. So one of the things that I would do is encourage the gig economy as much as possible. Let people, the beauty about the gig economy is mostly it is delivery-based payouts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. Any learnings from the Byju's and the PayTm saga for the world at large?
I think it's become fashionable to talk about these.
Absolutely. But just look at it, right? Both these organizations were at a different level. They were the darlings of the media at any point in time. And when it came crashing, it was like, oh, it can happen. So much so that founders and startups actually made a representation to the regulator that could impact, the culture itself. But that's not done, right?
Oh, but Santosh, tell me one thing, hasn't it happened everywhere? Leave Byju's aside, leave
Yeah.
PayTm aside.
Of
Poor guy.
course, it has happened.
They have done a huge favor to a whole lot of people.
Exactly.
Okay, they've done
So
a lot
many
of
would have been born out of it, right? Exactly. Yeah.
So they've also done a lot of wrong things. I'm not defending. I am not, persecuting them, right? But what I want to tell you is you just look at the larger industry by itself. Hasn't it happened in banking?
So many.
Okay. What happened with Yes Bank? What happened with the Lehman Brothers? What
Global
happened?
Trust Bank, so many.
Hasn't it happened in, talk about what happened with FTX?
Yeah, globally also.
I mean, look at India, look at the globe. It's happened in every industry.
Yeah.
Right? And we are so unfair picking on Byju's and picking on PayTm. Of course, there are wrongdoings. I mean,
Yep.
we'll be stupid to say that there is no wrongdoing somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of it is also, one question that I always ask is, okay, was it greed? Okay. And whose greed? And who all were greedy in that?
Yeah.
Right? How did the valuations go to, whatever number that we're talking, 20, 30, 40 billion dollars? How did it go there? How did they raise money at those valuations?
Yeah.
Which means that somebody was willing to believe in that story.
Yeah, exactly.
If there was corporate governance issues, why was there corporate governance issues? Why did you allow that as an investor sitting on the board?
Yeah. So many
And
years.
if it's gone under your nose, so it's not right to blame one person.
True.
Okay? The way the world works is you are either a hero or a villain
Hmm.
as a founder,
Exactly. You're right.
right?
Spot on. Yeah.
I don't think it's fair.
Hmm.
First of all, making them a hero single-handedly is unfair, and
Yeah.
then making them a villain single-handedly is unfair.
Yeah.
I I think people have to look at it from
Very
whole.
objectively. Yeah. Objective lens. Yeah. Agree.
I think
There
that's
have
the
been some, yeah, there have been very some, I would try to put it as sweet or very cute, startup stories where uh, it's because you have a lot of youngsters getting into startups, and it's somewhere some kind of research I'm sure somebody will do. You find that when there's a young one born in that family, that person who has that young one, who is the father or the mother, they have suddenly rose to success in that startup. Is that something very common in the industry? Just a very, a very bit of a different point of view, but maybe your point of view. What's your take? You would have come across such families.
Yes, I have, and I believe that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
देखिए क्या होता है ना कि किसी के घर में जब एक न्यू बॉर्न पैदा होता
Hmm.
है, then that newborn brings, their luck.
Yeah.
I'm a believer that, 5% of everything that comes to you is luck. 95% is everything else.
Yeah.
That 5% luck suddenly starts playing, probably, you
Hmm.
know, there
Hmm.
is no science behind it.
Hmm.
Now, I'll give you a counter view. Okay. There are a whole lot of women today who are also entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
who are
Correct.
occupying fantastic positions in great companies and consciously deciding not to have a baby till later.
Hmm.
Okay. So what does it mean? Does it mean that they will never get lucky? Okay. The answer is no. The answer is that, does the child bring a little additional luck? In my opinion, yes. Okay. But you can always compensate that. If you don't want to have a child and you want to focus on your career for some
Career.
more time, please by all means do that. You just compensate that by probably doing some good karma somewhere. Yeah, that's all.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Zoozle. The success. Where are we on that? What's been the early learnings from Zoozle? And more importantly, what's Zoozle?
Got it. So yeah, I mean, Zoozle is something that's very close to my heart. Okay. Um, and I'm going to tell you, it is at a very, very early stage. Okay. And there are two, you know, two things that we are doing in Zoozle. Okay.
Yeah.
Zoozle is first of all a marketplace e-commerce platform. Okay. So a question that I asked myself is there a need for one more e-commerce platform?
Hmm.
There's already, such big names, you know. So the answer I got was that yes, there are, but none of them are making money, right? At least that's what the data shows. I don't know if I'm wrong, but at least that's what the data shows, that a lot of people are struggling. Then I saw that a lot of them have actually probably the total amount of money raised between all the big, companies and spent could be in the tune of about 12, 13, 14, probably $15 billion.
Wow.
I'm
Hmm.
talking only about India.
Hmm.
Okay. And disclaimer, I'm not sure if this number is right.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
I, I'm guessing that
Hmm.
that's the number.
Hmm.
So if $15 billion have gone down, what has been created?
Hmm.
Okay. What's been created is a habit
Yeah.
that the average consumer who was not willing to buy online, was afraid of using his credit card and payment mechanisms, has all changed.
Yeah.
Today, that $15 billion that has been spent well in ensuring that, okay, you know what, if I want to buy something, I'll buy online. I don't have to go and buy offline.
Hmm.
Uh, but still, every consumer expects you to, be the lowest priced in the market if it is online.
Yeah.
Um, so when I looked at all of this, okay, um, so we said, how do we change this? How do we try and make it profitable? Okay. And I looked at two models.
Hmm.
One was the model of Costco in the US,
Yeah.
Costco and Sam's Club. Both of them are membership models, but they are hybrid models. They are both online and offline. And we looked at those models and said, how does this work? How does Costco manage to do $240 billion a year
Hmm.
in a market where Amazon is a very relevant and a very prominent player, right?
Yeah.
How does Sam's Club suddenly come in the last few years and start doing $85 billion, already? So when we looked at these numbers, we said, okay, these models seem to be working. Can
Mhm.
it work in India? And
Yeah.
we looked at Metro Cash and Carry in India and said, yeah, I mean, Metro Cash and Carry has been around.
Yeah.
Can we create such a model purely online,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so we are experimenting with that. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
the second part of what we are doing in Zoozle. So we are creating a membership.
Hmm.
Okay, how does it work? So Santosh signs up. Initially, when you sign up and you buy your first product, you will also get the membership free.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't pay for membership to start with
Hmm.
in on Zoozle in India.
Hmm.
And with that membership, you get a member price. Let's say, for example, you're buying something. My request is please compare prices on every platform before you buy, because as it is by nature, you and I are all comparison shoppers. We will compare prices and only then buy.
Yeah.
So continue to do that.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And if you find prices cheaper on Zoozle
Yeah.
as a member, buy the product, and with that first purchase, you already get your membership free.
Membership. Yeah.
Nothing to lose, right? And then you will keep getting a better price as a member. If you don't want the membership, just say I don't want membership, and you pay the full price and buy the product. Okay,
Hmm.
I don't see why you would do that, but yeah, that's the uh, so that's the second part of Zoozle. That's a small pivot that we have done in the last few months.
Mhm.
Prior to that, we were experimenting that a membership model. I'm sorry,
Okay.
a reseller model.
Okay.
Okay. And because we felt that there are millions of people in India, okay, who want to have a passive income,
Yeah.
okay,
Hmm.
have a network within their society, within their
Yeah.
relatives, within their friends, okay. And we said, okay, what if we made them, e-commerce enabled
Hmm.
store in their own name?
Mhm.
For Santosh, you could have santosh.zoozle.in.
Yeah. Hmm. You have a
What we
domain kind of, yeah.
have a subdomain,
Yeah.
right? And it's a feel good factor.
Yeah.
And also it feels good for you to tell, as an average, Indian citizen, to tell all
Hmm.
your relatives and friends that I have my own online business now.
Yeah.
So we experimented with that.
Mhm.
Uh, we saw some initial success. Okay. In
Mhm.
terms of the number of resellers we signed up, we had more than 31,000 resellers within a span of a few months.
Wow. Okay.
But we realized that there was some reluctance. They were not transacting enough.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Whatever goals we had
Yeah.
on transactions, we were not very convinced.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so what we did was we said, okay, let's keep the reseller model alive. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Uh,
Activate, relook at it later. Yeah.
no, we continue to have it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
We don't discontinue it,
Hmm.
but let's add, the Costco, the Sam's Club membership model.
Hmm.
And that's what we are experimenting with now. We are in that process where we are trying to find a product market fit.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
We are in that process. Okay.
Okay.
And in that process, we are very excited because we are seeing early signs. We've been indexed. We are being indexed by Google,
Okay.
and we see when you go on Google Shopping, and when you go on Google and search for a product, and you select shopping, you see a whole lot of
Zoozle
lists.
listing. Okay.
You will also see Zoozle there.
Nice.
And we were very encouraged because a lot of people saw that, there is a membership and the membership is free and the prices are better.
Yeah.
This product is the same. I mean,
Yeah.
many people called me who know me and said that, how are you able to, it's the same product,
Differentiate. Hmm.
same seller, it's the same brand. Okay, you're still able to give it to me, 10%, 12%, 15% cheaper than some other platform, some other very, very prominent platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So they started buying. Okay, so we are able to see that initial traction now. Okay,
Mm.
we've never spent a single dollar on, marketing this yet
Marketing. Mm.
at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
our marketing plans are getting firmed up as we speak.
Mm.
Uh, Hopefully, in early April, you will start seeing, our marketing efforts kick in.
Okay.
Uh, Chicken and egg story, in
Yeah.
in an e-commerce business, the sellers who want to come and sell on our platform,
Yeah.
want to know, how much traction will I get?
Mm.
And the buyers want to know where are all the products, right?
Yeah.
We have
The cheap
about,
ones.
so we have only about 7,000 products on our platform today.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And I remember this same conversation sometime back when we had less than 1,000 products.
Mm.
So I was talking to a seller
Uh-huh.
and I was telling him, hey, why don't you sell on my platform? He said, where are the buyers?
Mm.
I said, listen, buyers will come.
Come.
I'm not charging you any money. You're coming free of cost, just a matter of listing. No, no, it takes effort to do catalog. I said, okay, fine. I'll do the catalog for you.
Yeah.
You give me your catalogs. I'll have my team manage it for you. There was a lot of reluctance.
Mm.
You, you know, we had less than 1,000 products then, just a few
Mm.
months. Now we
Uh-huh.
have about 7,000 products.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we see a much better response
Mm.
of sellers. So the
Yeah.
seller is saying, okay, I want to sell. So we now have a lot of good brands. We have a lot of good sellers coming in. It's still very early days for Zoozle. I'll
Mm.
just give you some numbers, right? In our lifetime, we have raised only $1.5 million.
Mm. Wow.
Okay. And we are still left with about $1 million in the bank.
Mm. Okay.
Okay. So we've spent about $500,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've built the entire technology on our own. Not a
Correct.
single line of code, that we have a third party
Yeah.
service.
Mm.
Uh, our tech, we are very proud of it.
Mm.
But what we built is really outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
We have our own onboarding teams.
Okay.
We do on third parties because in India, depending on a third party onboarding is a crime. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even imagine we've had such miserable experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are doing everything in-house. Okay, the entire operations in-house, and all of this in about $500,000 that we've spent till now, unheard of in the startup ecosystem.
Mm.
I mean,
Wow.
this kind of frugality for you to build an e-commerce business like this, okay, and be where we are today. I think I take great pride.
Wonderful.
Uh, I am, yeah, I am extremely bullish about Zoozle.
Mm. And
Okay.
that's your gut, right? Your gut feel says so. That's important.
Yes, absolutely. That's why I'm in it.
Yes.
That's why I'm in it.
True.
It may take us another 2 years to
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, but the numbers on the listed companies are so encouraging.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you just look at where Nykaa is today.
Mm.
Right? Nykaa is still trading at about 10x of GMV, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm.
And about even globally also, if you see,
Yeah.
10x to 15x of GMV,
Yeah.
that we are able to see in the market.
Mm.
And for us to get to 1,000 crore GMV or
Mm.
ARR around that, I don't think it's going to take us more than 12 to 18 months from now.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's
Agree.
how close we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
so I am extremely bullish about this. I am very confident because all the hard work's been done. It's behind us today.
Mm.
That is according to me, tech is very difficult, to build. We have our own in-house tech team. We built that.
Yeah.
Okay. And the name is very catchy. Everybody tells me can't
Yeah.
forget
The
your
name itself. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
great products already available. And we are
Sure.
able to beat pricing on almost 90% of the products.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we are with Zoozle. Very, very excited and beautiful team that we have. And I'll tell you something. For the first time, I'm also feeling very bullish because, now, until now, I felt I have to carry this burden on my shoulder. And trust me, since November last year, I'm able to see the team kicking in and carrying the burden on their shoulder. And
One
that is an amazing feeling.
feeling. Yeah. Yeah. Agree. That's very good. Yeah. Yeah. With the kind of India, Bharat that we see, and almost certainly the 3.0 of the government, do you see a lot of, and especially in your interactions with stakeholders and clients abroad, especially the Americas or Europe, do you see them coming back home? What's the kind of mood out there within the Indian community?
Oh, the Indian community, especially in the US that I'm talking to, a lot of my friends want to come back.
Mm-hmm.
They can't believe what India has achieved. Okay.
Mm.
Um, People who have kids who have grown up are unable to come back.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. They're
their
caught
kids
between
want to
the.
come back.
Yeah.
Conflict. So they don't want to come back because of just that one reason.
Mm.
But I know many of them have already picked up homes in India, and what they're doing is they're spending 3 months or 4 months a year in India,
Mm.
and they're spending 6, 7 months, 8 months in the US. Um, Probably, according to me, that's a way they're balancing it
Yeah.
out.
And slowly transition eventually to India. Probably that's how it is.
Hopefully, yes. But if you talk about people who have young children,
Mm.
there's no doubt in their mind. They all want to come back, and many of them are actually coming back. So the reverse brain drain is a reality, and it's
Yeah.
happening
Mm.
as we.
Wonderful.
Uh, yeah, and India's story, I mean, is super exciting for everybody. I mean, it's a reality. It's not
True.
a myth.
Correct.
It's not even something that, is short-lived. I mean, everybody is able to see the next 20, 30 years, right? And that's the beauty. Yeah. So very, very, I'm personally very excited about India, and
Mm.
right decision never to leave India. A lot of times I had so many opportunities to,
Opportunities. Yeah.
and
True. True.
I told myself that no. I spent a lot of time in the US
Yeah.
between 2010 and 2014, but the answer was never to leave India.
Mm. Absolutely. So, Rajesh, when it comes to networking, and it's so important, right, in India that when you have startups or any business for that matter, uh, how does one really, get to know of the kind of associations, forums, chambers of commerce? Have you been a part of any such forums or associations, and how do you take that forward?
Yeah, Santosh, actually, you know what? There are so many forums, like you rightly mentioned, but one association called BNI,
Mhm.
Business Network International, I think, particularly in India and around the world, has played a crucial role over the last close to 3 decades.
Okay.
I think in India, they must be having close to about 55,000 small businesses as members.
Hmm.
And globally, they may be having about 500,000.
Ah, wow. Okay.
I know people swear uh, by BNI so much that BNI has become a part of their DNA. It has become a part of their life,
Mm.
and their entire business depends on BNI. And
Wonderful.
people have made millions and millions of rupees in profits.
Mhm.
So BNI has been at the forefront of contributing to the small business economy in India.
Mhm.
And the philosophy about BNI that I love is that they follow this line. They say givers gain.
Mm.
Okay, and it's a give and take relationship. So everybody is helping the others grow their business.
Mm.
So what happens is you are part of a chapter, and in that chapter there are about 60 to 100 people,
Yeah.
and you are promoting their business while 60 to 100 people are promoting your business.
Mm.
And it's a very inexpensive way, you
Okay.
know.
That's very
Mem-
important.
yeah, it's very inexpensive, and it's amazing for people who are ready to give time
Mm.
and who are ready to contribute in terms of efforts.
Yeah.
Uh, mind-blowing network. The gentleman who created it, I think his name was Ivan Meissner, if I'm not wrong. Hats off to him. Yeah, I mean, he's changed the way the world does business, at least in that small business economy.
Okay, that's great. When it comes to success, right, the importance of knowledge can't be, underscored. So, are there any kind of, information? And I know it's very easy to get information in today's age, but in fact, there is an overload. Have you come across where people can talk about success and the knowledge all together in one kind of one screen or one book?
Yeah, it's funny that you bring this up.
Yeah.
Uh, there is a organization called Success Gyan.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's run by a gentleman called Suren.
Okay.
One of the most humble and most capable person I have ever met.
Uh-huh.
But I must tell you about Success Gyan, right?
Mhm.
Their motto is that they want to make India the coaching capital of the world.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Mm.
And the kind of content they are able to create, the
Yeah.
kind of coaches they are able to build, okay?
Mm.
Uh, those coaches in turn are impacting the lives of millions of small entrepreneurs who are focusing on profits,
Okay.
not necessarily on valuations alone.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So what Success Gyan has done over the last few years is just unimaginable that a small organization has grown to that level.
Mm.
Uh, they're no longer small any which ways.
Yeah.
They've got, I don't know if you've heard of these brilliant names. Okay. They've got Rajiv Talreja, who's a
Mm.
business coach.
Yeah.
Uh, and Rajiv Talreja, Santosh, you won't believe, in the last 1 year must have helped the businesses under his guidance
Mm-hmm.
to add about 5 to 6,000 crores of rupees in profits.
Wow. And economy by itself. Yeah.
That's an economy by itself, right?
Yeah.
Somebody like Raj Shamani
Mm.
and Siddharth Rajsekar are
Yeah.
also part of Success Gyan.
Ah,
So
okay.
under Success Gyan, they've got brilliant coaches,
Mm-hmm.
okay, both from India and from the rest of the world. And what they do is they bring them, have offline programs as well as online programs. And I think Success Gyan overall single-handedly must have shaped about a few million lives,
Ah, wonderful. Yeah.
right? And India is so lucky to have Success Gyan, and Suren, and all these guys like Rajiv, Raj Shamani, Siddharth Rajsekar,
Yeah.
so many coaches that there are very normal people sitting at home
Mm.
getting inspired. Now, here is the key point, okay? Uh, Simple people sitting at home
Yeah.
are being inspired by these coaches, starting their own contribution to the ecosystem, to the environment, and to the economy in their own small way. And most importantly, they are finding meaning in their lives, which they never saw before.
Wonderful. Yeah.
And there I say hats off to these guys. They're just amazing the kind of work that they're doing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Absolutely. When we talk of entrepreneurship, there are these two big businesses, right, without which India is incomplete: Bollywood and cricket. Uh, have you come across entrepreneurship, and what's the role probably entrepreneurs can take role in Bollywood and cricket? Because there's so much of money involved, talent there, and both are something most talked about, right? So, what's your take on that?
Well, Bollywood for sure. I'll start with Bollywood first. And I
Yeah.
think Bollywood for sure has added tremendous value to inspiring
Mm.
millions and millions of Indians, and they continue to do so. It's been doing for I don't know how many decades.
Yeah.
It continues to do that. One name that pops up in my mind, okay, is Shahrukh Khan.
Mm.
Uh, and I want to tell you this personally. I'm not a big fan of Shahrukh Khan as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't think I have seen too many of his movies. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no particular reason.
Yeah.
Okay, we all have our personal preferences. I may like a different actor. You may like a different actor, right? Personally, I've never liked him as an actor. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but Shah Rukh Khan as a human being,
Mm.
Shah Rukh Khan as a business mind, okay? Shah Rukh Khan as a inspirational leader, okay? I don't think India has produced a story like that.
Yeah.
Today, if you look at Shah Rukh Khan from where he came,
Yeah.
no godfather in the industry.
True.
Okay. And then look at the time of his entry. Bollywood was very difficult to make an entry
Yeah.
into, just
Yeah.
like how the startup ecosystem is today.
True.
If you want to, build a product today or, go and get funded, it's difficult. Let's accept it.
Yeah.
So the similarity, Shah Rukh Khan entered the industry in such a time, and everybody rejected him. I've read some story about how he was being rejected by a whole lot of people. And the guy actually had the audacity to go and tell somebody that, put me on the front cover of a magazine.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
don't do it tomorrow, you will regret and stuff like that. I mean, look at that confidence in himself, right? And from there to become the greatest superstar this country has ever produced.
True.
And then look at Red Chillies, look at all the cricketing and the
Yeah.
sporting teams that he owns. Okay, look at the amount of money that he's been able to create,
Correct.
jobs that he's been able to create.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
there must be, according to me, there must be about 10,000 families feeding off him, minimum,
Easily.
maybe more.
Absolutely. Yeah. More. More in fact. Yeah.
Right. Now, look at the impact of Shah Rukh Khan on India. I
Mm.
mean, so I have, very little knowledge about his acting skills,
Mm.
but I am one of the greatest fans of him as a human being, as a businessman,
Uh-huh.
and as an Indian. I must end by saying,
Yeah.
as an Indian. So for me, Bollywood and Shah Rukh Khan go hand in hand. And
Yeah.
I think both Bollywood and Shah Rukh Khan have tremendously inspired businesses in India.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
in their own right. Okay, they have done more than what some state governments might have done.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what about
So
cricket? The other passion and
yeah.
pastime in India.
Well, 1983 World Cup, Mr. Kapil Dev. Before 1983, India was a very different DNA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, as a country, I don't think we believed that we were world beaters.
Yeah.
I don't think we were even good enough to compete at a world level.
Yeah.
This one man comes out of nowhere, okay,
Mm.
and shows us that if you have the passion,
Yeah.
if you have the killer instinct,
Yeah.
and if you believe in yourself, you can go beat the world. Right? And what Kapil Dev did in 1983, MS Dhoni did twice with the World Cups that he won for us.
Yeah.
And the kind of confidence that these two gentlemen gave this nation
Mm.
it's made generations after generations believe that we as Indians
Yeah.
are really capable
Capable.
at a global level and we can beat the world, right? And today, if we are seeing people doing well in any sport, be it
Yeah.
badminton, be it tennis, be it
Yeah.
any sport that we talk about, not just cricket.
Yeah.
If you look at Indians doing well in, non-sporting diasporas, even business.
Yeah.
Okay, there are a lot of Indian entrepreneurs who are thinking that, I will build a product for the world now.
Yeah.
It is
Agree.
not just for India.
Yeah.
So all of that has been contributed to a large extent by these two gentlemen and their, teams. It's wrong to
Absolutely.
just say that only Kapil Dev and MS Dhoni have done it.
True.
Virat Kohli, in his own right, has probably for example, I know one particular person in my close circle,
Mhm.
swears, by the fact that he's, the biggest fan of Virat Kohli on earth. But what I have seen this 28-year-old boy do
Yeah.
is that from a completely a lost path, he was completely lost at one point of time,
Yeah.
and he didn't know what he wants to do in life.
Uh-huh.
And I used to tell him, listen, buddy, find a way,
Yeah.
find some meaning, find some domain to get into.
Purpose in life. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, some purpose in life. And he would always tell me that, my time will come. I am watching Virat's every move. I am seeing how he's transformed himself himself into the fittest person. I have seen how he's transformed himself into the fastest runner between wickets.
Uh-huh.
And that this guy went on, okay, believe it or not, he went on to to do his own startup, and he's seen tremendous success in the last, what, about a year and a half.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and every time I talk to him, the conversation invariably is around what Virat is doing and how he is getting inspired and emulating some of that in business.
Amazing. Yeah.
So, Santosh, Bollywood and cricket are part and parcel of our country's DNA.
Yeah.
People will always keep getting inspired.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's
In
my
fact,
take on it.
in India, I think compared to the West and the Europes of the world, India has so many role models, very successful people, and I think that's where the demographic dividend that we see will get that inspiration and that motivation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Any field. I mean, we are blessed to be in a country like India.
Yeah,
I mean, you can talk about any field, and we have got leaders that we can emulate.
true,
And over thousands of years,
true.
last, 7,000, 10,000 years back, you'll have examples to follow.
Yeah,
Of course, our history is not written down so well,
yeah.
but there are leaders and heroes everywhere for us.
Absolutely. Rajesh, apart from the startups, right, how is the ecosystem in India actually helping the unorganized industry and the entrepreneurs? Well, they are a big chunk, right? And they've gone through that pain during the COVID. And post that, how do you think could that be galvanized? Because that's an industry, smart industry. They are feet on the street, smart brains. Any views on this?
Oh yeah, see, sometime back we spoke about how happy people are on the streets of Kashi. I'm right now in Kashi, and
Yeah,
how happy people are here,
true.
and how happy people are in Bharat compared to
Yeah,
anywhere else in the world.
yeah,
Your question is, how has the ecosystem helped
yeah,
these small business owners? I would
yeah.
rather say it's the other way around.
Is it?
I don't think the set of people
Hmm.
have gained too much from policy. I
Hmm.
don't think that set of people have gained too much from the regulators.
Hmm.
Okay, of course, there is technological advancement. Everybody's using UPI today.
Yeah.
All of that. But I think it's the other way around.
Hmm.
It's these small businesses, okay, who are happy doing the regular small thing,
Yeah.
like this small shop called Lakshmi Chai Wala,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
or Kashi Chaat Bhandar, or
Correct.
Ram Bhandar,
Yeah.
okay. Now these are small businesses. Now each of these guys, okay, are at least employing 8 to 10 people,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, and that means 8 to 10 families are being fed. That means there's 8 to 10 families and their kids are going to school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of that is coming from this small business economy.
Yeah.
And that burden is less on the government.
Hmm.
That much burden is less on the economy,
Correct.
right? Imagine having all of these people being unemployed. It would be
Yeah.
miserable. So you know why India is insulated as an economy. You spoke about COVID.
Yeah.
Of course, this small businesses and the unorganized sector of India went
Yeah.
through, a horrible time.
Yeah.
Uh, let's not forget, they bounced back, and they bounced back how?
True.
That is the resilience of India and the small business owner. And look at how they're doing it.
Yeah.
The way they're doing it is, they are making it a success.
Hmm.
They are employing people. They are taking care of families, and yet there is happiness over there. They are
Yeah.
not discontent,
Correct.
right?
Correct. And positive.
I was talking to very, very positive. I was talking to this chai wala, okay, this Lakshmi chai wala. And I was asking him कि भाई एक काम करो ना यार, आप आपका तो इतना अच्छा धंधा चल रहा है, यहाँ पे लाइन लगी हुई है,
हाँ.
15-20 तो आपको ब्रांच खोल लेने चाहिए,
हाँ. हाँ.
ओके.
Correct. Correct.
से साहब जी, हम खुश हैं, हमको ये जो भगवान ने जो धंधा दिया है ना, यही बहुत है, राइट. कोई और खोल लेगा कहीं और चाय की दुकान, उसका भी घर चलेगा,
Correct.
उसका भी पेट
Yeah.
भरेगा. I was
Correct.
like, God, look at the magnanimity over here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
that is
that
India.
brings, yeah, that's the beauty of India, right? So let's talk about the most important, I would say the stakeholder, if I have to use the word, in India, and that's the Indian consumer. He wants the best of the quality with the least of the price.
you would have interacted with lots of the consumers in different aspects of your businesses, interacted with them. What's your view on the Indian consumer? Is that a tough one, a tough nut to crack?
Yes, it is. Not mincing words, the Indian consumer is a very tough nut to crack. You and I are also Indian consumers.
Yeah.
We are also tough nut. We are also tough nuts to crack. Okay,
Correct.
so
Yeah.
we are no exception. Our DNA is the same.
Yeah.
Yes, we are tough nuts to crack. But the Indian consumer wants the best quality, the best service.
Mm.
We don't want to pay for service.
Yeah.
We want the best quality products at the cheapest price.
Yeah.
And then we are all, in every city we know कि यार ये चीज ना सस्ते में वहां पे मिलती है पुराने मार्केट में, मैं वहां से जाके ले
Okay.
लूंगा.
Yeah.
तो वो एक डीएनए चेंज होते होते थोड़ा टाइम लग रहा है. लेकिन there is one particular behavior of an Indian consumer which personally impacts me. Okay, so I'll talk about Zoozle again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why are we doing Zoozle? So a lot of people ask me कि e-commerce is saturated.
Yeah.
There are very very large players. Okay.
Yeah.
There are many players who have tried and failed.
Yeah.
Okay. Lots of people have burnt billions of dollars and not made it a success.
Correct.
So, why are you attempting something like this? It's a very difficult thing to do, right? So my answer is to myself, and this answer I'm not answerable to anybody else. Okay, I am answerable to myself. So, okay, so the answer to myself is कि boss, अगर कोई काम आसान है और मैं वो करूँगा, तो बाकी लोगों में और मुझ में फर्क कहाँ है? Right? I must do something which is difficult to do. First part. Because I feel that God has blessed me, okay, with a little bit of capability, with a little bit of circle of people that I know who are willing to back. So a lot of things. I'm probably a bit better in a better place.
Yeah.
And secondly, we decided, like, when we started Zoozle, हमने ये decide किया कि हम foreign funding नहीं लेंगे.
Okay.
ये बहुत ही Indianness, कि दिल से करेंगे काम, इंडिया के लिए करेंगे, इंडिया से ही फंडिंग मिलेगा तो लेंगे, नहीं तो विदाउट फंडिंग करेंगे. द वेरी इमोशनल पेट्रियोटिक फीलिंग, राइट? और इंडियंस के लिए बनाएंगे पहले. और आज तक वन ऑफ द थिंग्स वाज, आज तक अमेरिका से कंपनी बनती है, फिर वो इंडिया में आती है, फिर हम उसको एक्सेप्ट करते हैं कि यार इतनी बड़ी कंपनी इंडिया में आ गई. तो एक इंडिया की कंपनी बनाते हैं, इंडियन फंडिंग से बनाते हैं. दैट वाज द थॉट प्रोसेस. अभी इंटरेस्टिंगली क्या है कि द इंडियन कंज्यूमर, राइट? अब ये इंडियन कंज्यूमर जो है, अब एक्चुअली स्पीकिंग मेरा तो ये रिक्वेस्ट रहेगा आपके शो के माध्यम से कि यार अगर आप हिंदुस्तानी हो, आप इंडियन हो, तो आपको अगर कुछ ऑनलाइन खरीदना है तो पहले आप एक इंडियन प्लेटफॉर्म पे खरीदने की कोशिश करो ना, राइट? क्या होगा, तो आपको प्रोडक्ट अर्जेंट नहीं चाहिए, कल 2 दिन के बाद मिलेगा Zoozle से, कहीं और से आपको कल सुबह मिल जाएगा, मेरे यहाँ से आपको 2 दिन बाद मिलेगा, लेकिन मेरे यहाँ से सस्ता मिलेगा. और अगर आप मुझे सपोर्ट करोगे, राइट, और Zoozle को आप एक बहुत बड़ी कंपनी बनाने में आप हमारी मदद करोगे, तो कल Zoozle पूरे दुनिया में होगा. एक हिंदुस्तानी कंपनी पूरे दुनिया में जाके अपना झंडा गाड़ के आएगी, राइट? तो ये हमारा एक मकसद है. तो इंडियन कंज्यूमर जो है ना, वो कभी कभी इन चीजों को ध्यान नहीं देता है. वो देखना यार वहां पे सस्ता मिल गया, वहां पे जल्दी मिल गया, राइट? वो उस समय भूल जाता है कि ये जो कंपनी है वो शायद इंडियन नहीं है, शायद जो मैं पैसे दे रहा हूँ कल के दिन वो किसी और देश में जाने वाला है. और मेरे बच्चों को, मतलब जो कंज्यूमर है ना, उसके बच्चों को कोई फायदा नहीं होने वाला उससे, राइट? लेकिन वो उस समय नहीं सोचता है खरीदने के समय. तो अगर आप ये क्लिप देख रहे हो और अगर मेरी बात आपको सही लगी हो, तो जितने लोगों को आप जानते हो उनको प्लीज ये फॉरवर्ड करिए और बोलिए कि भाई एक बार Zoozle पे खरीदने की कोशिश तो करो. नहीं मिला सस्ता मत खरीदो, सस्ता मिला तो खरीदो, right?
Because
This
it is Zoozle.in that what makes the difference, right?
.in, absolutely. हमने नाम भी .com नहीं ढूंढा. मेरे को बहुत लोग बोलते हैं कि यार .com कर लो कर लो. मैं बोलता हूँ भाई देख, सिंपल है, ये .in ठीक है, हमारा हमारा जो एक फीलिंग है वो .in में हमको अच्छा दिखता है, राइट? दैट्स इट, वी आर हैप्पी विद .in. जब हम जाएंगे रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड तो हम उस देश का डोमेन ले लेंगे.
Yeah, absolutely.
अगर हम दुबई गए कभी तो हम .ae ले लेंगे,
Correct.
राइट? तो हमको अभी .com की जरूरत नहीं है. सो we are probably in the eyes of many VCs and many private equity players, they may look at it, क्या बकवास है ये, right? For many people who have a different thought than me,
Yeah.
for them so it may sound कि यार ये क्या बकवास कर रहा है, इससे क्या होता है, ऐसे थोड़ा ही धंधा होता है. मेरा एक्सपीरियंस ये कहता है संतोष कि मैंने जब से होश संभाला है मैंने चीजें अपने हिसाब से की.
Absolutely. That's where your gut plays the key role, right?
एब्सोल्युटली. मैं कोशिश करता रहूंगा. एक ना एक दिन भगवान और मेरा जो मेहनत है वो काम करेगा. And we are already seeing some great result. I mean, I'm very happy with what the results that we are seeing at the moment.
Wonderful. Absolutely pleased to know that.
On that very, very, very positive note, Rajesh, all the very, very best for your Zoozle, and I'm sure a lot more to come. And it's a very big thank you probably from all our audiences because you have been a kind of, what you started off and now what you are. I'm sure this last 90 minutes journey has something that they've got a peekaboo into what it was, and must not have been easy life, but so inspiring, so fascinating, so much to look forward to. Thank you so much for being on this podcast of mine, which is The Sound of Money.
Thank you, Santosh, and I'm wishing you all the best for your podcast. And I know that you're a very successful banker, in your full-time
This is a
work.
hobby. Yeah.
No, but I think you're doing great, and I wish you all the best, and I'm sure you will do well. Your
Thank you so
content
much.
Your content is, good quality content, great, guests. Neelkant Mishra was amazing, and Shiv Khera was good, and so many others.
Yeah.
So, even many more to come, I know, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
talk about them. Yeah.
Thank
All
you
the
so
best to you. All the
Sure,
best to you too.
sure. Thank you. And well, with that, we come to the end of this amazing podcast. I loved it with Rajesh Dembla. Thank you for being with me on this podcast, The Sound of Money. Bye-bye and take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.